Hey, what's going on, guys? What's going on? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is theblackfinancialchannel.com. I want to talk about this thing with Facebook going out. Facebook had an outage today, and it was pretty messy. Most of y'all know it. I'm sure most of y'all were fiending for Facebook. And it appears that on the same day as the outage, Facebook already had a lot of other problems. Namely, apparently they can't control their Karens because they had a random white woman who used to work for Facebook who has been spilling all the beans. She's been doing a Takashi 69 on Facebook. She's been telling all their secrets. And give me a yes or no if you saw that. If you saw this thing with the Facebook whistleblower, which was the big story on Facebook before there was a bigger story. The bigger story was that Facebook and Instagram was down and all this other stuff. And did you all see that? Like, let me know. By the way, let me know if you can hear me okay, because I'm actually on this odd little device and I don't trust technology right now. So give me a yes in the chat if you can hear me okay. I want to make sure I'm coming through all right. So here's the deal. All right, so Facebook went out, and usually I'm doing something on Facebook or Instagram every day. So of course, people like me were kind of like, "Whoa, what's going on? What's happening?" Right? And we're all thinking that it's our own Wi-Fi, and it turns out that no, the world's Wi-Fi just went out. And and there's a lot to think about there. But here's the thing: I really don't think that it was a coincidence. I really don't. I don't know. Give me an opinion. Give me a yes or no. Do y'all think it's a coincidence that literally the day after Facebook is blasted in the media by this whistleblower? I forgot her name. We'll just call her Karen. We'll call her Karen 69. That's because she did a Takashi 69. You know Takashi 69, the rapper, how he just kind of snitched on everybody. So we're gonna call her Karen 69. So Karen 69 went and basically went on 60 Minutes and has been literally the solo source of a series of very scathing Wall Street Journal articles that have all come out basically saying kind of what we already knew, that Zuckerberg ain't shit, that Facebook is crooked. I kind of think we knew those things. Like black people, we're just smarter than everyone else. I really believe that. Like we're like the canaries in the mine. So we kind of experience and explore and understand things. The smart ones, intelligent black people anyway, not the brainwashed Negroes. The brainwashed Negroes, I can't speak for them. But the intelligent black people, y'all kind of understand things before other people get it. So y'all knew Facebook was garbage before this. Like you didn't need a random white woman to come out and tell you that Facebook was unethical. You didn't need the Wall Street Journal, to inform you that Facebook screws people over, because Facebook been screwing black people over for at least a decade, right? At least a decade. Because I bet you that about 80% of you in this room right now have been in Facebook jail at some point. Shout yourselves out. You might as well get credit for the fact that you are veterans of the digital mass incarceration system, because all of us have been in Facebook jail at least 18 times. So here's the deal. So with Facebook, this whole Karen 69 thing happens where she basically snitches on the company, and does some really crazy, damning things. Like she released like tens of thousands of documents and all this other stuff. And somebody asked, "Is this live?" Yes, it is live. And she, really had a vendetta against the company. And I think she was a deep insider with the company. Like I really get a sense that she had access to a lot of information. She had access to a lot of documents, and she really has some ethical concerns about Facebook. And some of these things, I can understand there being ethical dilemmas, right? Facebook is a peculiar kind of social experiment because, for the first time with social media, you literally have something that is about as close to people hacking as you're ever going to get, or as you're going to get until you get to where artificial intelligence takes over, which Mark Zuckerberg is actually a great advocate of artificial intelligence. Like he and Elon Musk have had public arguments about AI. Mark thinks that the artificial intelligence bots are going to just be wonderful people that assist us in living better lives. Elon Musk believes that the artificial intelligence robots are going to come and kill us and just take over the planet and use us for food or something. I don't know what he's thinking. But the point here, though, the interesting thing about that is that Facebook engages in what I call people hacking because they study you like a lab rat. Right now, the currency in this society, the new currency is some people think content is the new currency, which it is to a point. But really, the actual currency isn't content. It's actually data. Data is the new currency that's worth trillions of dollars. And, and every country is in a race to see who can get the most data. And they don't just get data on their own citizens, they're getting data on other people's citizens. That's why companies like TikTok are so dangerous to American security, because TikTok is a Chinese company that has access to, just tons of data on Americans, right? And America and China, in case you did not know, America and China are pretty much at war. They just haven't actually bombed each other, but they're kind of pretty much at war. So why does this matter? Why am I bringing all this up? Well, when you look at Facebook, the interesting thing about it is that they study you. They study you like a lab rat. They study you. They experiment on you. And when you have lots of data, and take it from me, I'm a scientist. I've done tons of research studies, and written tons of peer-reviewed academic research journals where when you get a lot of data, it's like being a kid in a candy store. You can run all kinds of tests. You can run a test on top of the test, and you can test your test to see if it's the right test, and just test everything. And ultimately, you gain these massive insights that that are really hard to get, in a standalone type situation. So big data really creates this odd situation, and it's only going to get worse. It's not going to, it's not going to go away. Where literally these companies like Facebook, they know more about you than you know about yourself. Like they know how to influence you in ways where you don't even know you're being influenced. Seriously. I mean, really, the smartest people I've seen are the people who just take social media vacations. I don't know if anybody else does this or not, but if you want to ever like kind of bring yourself back to normal and get yourself out of zombie mode and stop freaking out over whatever stupid little thing you saw on Facebook that morning, get in the habit of taking social media vacations and unhook your brain to their epicenter. They literally have like in Star Trek, they have the cyborgs. We have become cyborgs. Facebook has made it that way. They have all kinds of data on which emotions are more likely to get you to engage and to get you to do certain things. They know that you're influenced to buy products based on what your friends bought. That's why they always tell you, so Billy bought these shoes too, right? And you go buy the shoes because you're like, oh, well, Billy's cool. I want to, if Billy likes the shoes, then they must be good shoes, right? So long story short, this data hacking thing, or this human being hacking thing, is something that is real, and I'm glad that people are kind of putting a spotlight on it, because somebody as an unethical prick like Mark Zuckerberg should probably not have that much power. And I'm on the Facebook platform saying these things. I'll probably get in trouble for speaking on King Zuckerberg in that way, but I'm going to do it, right? If you look at the history of Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, who's richer than anything you could ever imagine, like literally during the pandemic, I think that he was making somewhere around $50 million a day or something ridiculous like that, right? If you go back to the days where he first created Facebook, he said something that was really interesting to me. I think he said something like, I can't believe all these stupid people are giving me access to their private data and information. And then he said something like, the dumb fucks, right? So literally that's what he said. He literally called the people who share their data with him dumb fucks, because he understands the problem of sharing that much of your personal information with other people. And also, here's another thing too. If you watch documentaries, I don't remember, my wife and I watched a documentary about social media on Netflix. And one of the things that they said that was really interesting was they observed that most of the people who know social media really well, like the pioneers of Facebook and the people who run Google and run Snapchat and Twitter, they don't let their kids sit on social media all day. They don't want their kids on, so they limit the amount of time their kids are on social media. So those are the ethical issues with Facebook. Some of them, I think there's also a racism issue. I think that there's a censorship issue. Black people being put in Facebook jail or having their businesses destroyed and having no recourse, like having, Facebook is the judge, jury, and executioner, all that. So all my issues with Facebook were completely disjoint from the issues that Karen69 had. The white woman who came on 60 Minutes last night and said she doesn't like Facebook. Like, she had a whole different set of issues from what I had. She blames Facebook. I wrote it down. Hit the thumbs up button, by the way. Please hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done it yet. She said that Facebook did not do a good enough job of controlling hate speech and misinformation. Hate speech and misinformation. Now, here's why I take issue with that. A lot of y'all, give me a yes or no. How many black people in this room have been put into Facebook jail for something related to, a reference you made to black people or black history that was determined falsely identified as hate speech? Give me a yes or no. How many of you have been banned for something that was called hate speech, but it really wasn't hate speech? It was maybe liberation speech, like you were just talking about, like you showed a picture of a lynching and they banned you because that was defined as hate speech, or you said, somebody called me the N-word in the grocery store today and they banned you for hate speech, right? Well, that's my issue with this term when she says Facebook didn't do enough to control hate speech, because basically what they define as hate speech is incredibly arbitrary. And it's not only arbitrary, but it's an arbitrary term that's consistently manipulated by particularly liberals to define pretty much anything that doesn't go along with the liberal agenda. So if I get out here and I say, Lizzo shouldn't be promoting obesity as body positivity, she shouldn't be, simulating the sucking of a man's penis on TikTok, and Lil Nas X needs to stop taking black men and having them twerking in prison like prison is a Disneyland or something. Prison ain't Disneyland. Stop twerking in prison. It's a minstrel show, right? If I say that, then they would define that as hate speech, right? They would define me as, oh, you're a hateful, you're homo, you're a phobe, this, you're fat phobic, you're homophobic, you're sexist, right? They will call that hate speech just because I said, look, Lizzo, I don't want you simulating the sucking of a man's penis on TikTok because my daughter's 10 and she watches TikTok videos. Can you please let her have a childhood? Seriously, Lil Nas X, bro, you could be as gay as you want to be. I heard he's tired of being gay and now he likes girls again or something. I'll talk about that later. But my thing is like, dude, must we have black men twerking in prison? We up here trying to get brothers out of prison. Prison rape is a very serious issue. Lots of brothers get mental illness from going to prison. Why are you sitting here in exchange for a paycheck trying to act like prison is a fun, wonderful place that black men go and they twerk in the shower with each other? Like, really? You don't see videos of Jewish people twerking in concentration camps, right? So here's my point. My point is that one person's honesty is easily defined as somebody else's hate speech, which unfortunately that term hate speech is often used as an excuse for censorship. It is used as an excuse to say, hey, I should be allowed to talk as much as I want, right? I'm Karen and I am part of the Me Too movement, and I want to go and openly accuse some guy that I haven't seen for 30 years of doing something that isn't provable, and I have the right to ruin his life and say things that are incredibly libelous on social media because I'm speaking my truth. Right? I'm speaking my truth. Well, no, that's some hate speech. Because if you out here just throwing out accusations with people and there ain't no evidence, ain't no proof, and you ruining that man's life, got people looking at him sideways, done lost his job, done lost his whole reputation, done lost his family, because you up here accusing him of something that you can't even prove. We don't even know if you were actually the predator in his life. Then that, to me, I could call that hate speech, because I know black men who have been physically harmed and sent to prison because of somebody else's lie. Because y'all know that if there's anybody that sets the world record, if they had a Guinness Book a World Records category for who's been lied on the most, I would say the black man and the black woman are probably tied. The black man's been lied on more than anybody's business. So here's the deal. When Karen 69 goes and snitches on Facebook, and she goes out on 60 Minutes and says Facebook didn't do enough to control misinformation and hate speech, I took big issue with those words, misinformation and hate speech, because now we live in an era of complete liberal fascism mostly coming from the liberals, where basically anything that does not fit their agenda is defined as hate speech. Um, Anything that is not consistent with their narrative is defined as misinformation. So what they will come and say is, to keep the public safe, we've got to protect them from misinformation and hate speech, which kind of means, okay, and those motherfuckers, that means those motherfuckers over there can't talk. They can't even say anything, even if it's respectful. You can't say, like, you can't disagree with the, you know what, we've been talking about the jab a little bit. I'm not going to even really bring it up, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And I'm sitting there saying, wait, you mean I can't even get a second opinion? I can't hear from anybody other than you? Like you're really telling me that anything anybody says that disagrees with you is automatically misinformation? Who in the hell made you God and Jesus at the same damn time? Who gave you the authority to believe that you have the right to tell me who I can listen to? And I just don't understand that kind of world. I can't make myself stupid enough to want to live in a world like that. So when Karen said, Facebook is guilty of not doing enough to control misinformation and hate speech, I really wanted to ask, what do you define as misinformation and hate speech? So here's what she referenced in particular. She referenced the Capitol riots, the riots on the Capitol. Now, mind you, I have never had any desire to join up with a bunch of hillbilly Trump supporters and go run up on the Capitol. In fact, as a black man, I fully expect that if I got together with a bunch of homies and ran up on the Capitol, I would get my head blown off within about 10 seconds. I know this, right? I'm not, I don't know how they survived any of that, right? But here's the deal. One of the things that's really interesting about that is I've heard people consistently refer to the Capitol riots as the white supremacist riots, the white supremacist riots. And I'm like, but there were black people in the crowd. I didn't see white supremacy. I saw a bunch of angry Republicans. I saw a bunch of angry Trump supporters. I didn't agree with what they were doing, but and I didn't understand how they were able to just walk right into the Capitol as if you have no security. I mean, think about this, y'all. I mean, this is what intelligent people sit around and think about. I imagine if they can't even protect the most secure building in America, you ain't got a chance. If they can't even protect the Capitol from a bunch of unarmed rednecks, go get them, Jeff. We're gonna go get them. We're gonna go ride on the Capitol today. We're gonna go and take back America. Like, like if they can't even protect the country from a bunch of rednecks with pellet guns and baseball bats, do you really think they can protect our country from like a nuclear weapon? They can't, right? So either they are incredibly incompetent and can't protect the country, or they were lying. There was something going on there. There was something weird happening where somehow, for whatever reason, these people were just able to slide past the security guards and walk right in, right? And the military, the Pentagon, right down the street, had no response whatsoever. That was very weird to me. But beyond that, though, I really didn't understand. And give me a yes or no if you follow what I'm saying. I did not understand how this was a white supremacist event. I didn't see white supremacy. I just saw a bunch of people who were pissed off about an election and they did something that I probably wouldn't do myself, but it was what it was, right? So what she's referring to, what Karen is referring to, I call her Karen, the lady who snitched on Facebook. I don't know her name, so we're gonna call her Karen. What Karen was referring to was basically as misinformation, and what was the other word? Misinformation, and she had another word she used that hate speech and misinformation. And she was basically defining it as anything stated by people on the right. Because here's the reality. When you're talking about misinformation, I see a lot of misinformation that comes from my friends that are on the left. When you talk about hate speech, there's a few ways you can hate me more than to tell me that I got to go put something in my body that I'm not comfortable putting in my body. Seriously. Like, like that whole my body, my choice nonsense. I guess it goes out the window because you're talking about something else now. I don't understand that. That to me comes off as hate speech when you're forcing me to do that and telling me that if I don't do what you tell me to do, I can't get a job. I can't travel. I can't do nothing. I can't go inside the building. Like, that's very hateful. That's very fascist. Like, and what's really amazing to me is that everyone will tell you, all sides, people will tell you, oh, we just want to we don't want censorship. We just want to censor the people who don't deserve to talk, right? We just want to censor the people who are harmful to you. Well, my thought is that if you're censoring anybody, I think you're harmful to this country. When you're censoring, everybody who disagrees with you, when you're censoring 80 million people, I mean, what the hell who gave you the moral authority to think that you can censor 80 million people, right? So I will say this. Look, here's my deal. When it comes to Facebook, first of all, I don't think it's a coincidence that the that everything shut down the day after Karen said what she said. Mark Zuckerberg's created a lot of enemies. A lot of it's due to the fact that he allowed capitalist greed to drive his, to drive the way he ran his company after they went public. They didn't have to be so greedy. They didn't have to hurt, thousands of small businesses. They didn't have to go put every black person within a 100-mile radius in Facebook jail. Facebook has very few friends because Facebook's number one friend was money. They literally, like when Curtis Mayfield said, I'm your pusher, I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, I'm that blank blank in the alley, right? Like their friend was was money. Their drug was money. So, just like any other drug addict, Facebook allowed the drug of money to cause it to make decisions that were unnecessary, unethical, and very costly in the long term. They don't have a sustainable business model, largely because they went so far to put money over sort of anything beyond that. I don't think they were determined to do the right thing. I think they were determined to do the profitable thing. So in that regard, I think that what Karen did, and I know some of y'all mad at me for calling her Karen. I don't care. Her name gonna be Karen today. What Miss Karen did when she snitched on Facebook, I think that to some extent Facebook needs to get snitched on. Facebook needs to be put under control. Facebook needs to be regulated. Perhaps Facebook needs to be broken up. Maybe they need to be forced to sell WhatsApp. Maybe they need to do something else. I don't know. But whatever it is that they're doing, they have way too much power. They have the ability to hack human beings. They have the ability to overthrow governments. And they are, to some extent, in my view, abusing their power. And for that reason, they should be called to the carpet on that. However, the lady that was snitching on Facebook, you can look her name up. I've been calling her Karen, but anyway, because I gotta go. But the lady that was snitching on Facebook, I don't like what she was saying because I think that the changes that she is asking for are only going to lead to something that I think is very bad for America, which is censorship. I believe people should have the right to say what they want to say. And I encourage intelligent Black people to at least consider. I'm not going to tell you what to think, but at least consider this, right? Maybe instead of feeling like your adversaries have no right to speak, maybe you either debate with them or just let them have their own ideas. Like seriously, like everybody says, oh, these white supremacists shouldn't be allowed to talk on social media. I bet you can't. I bet you can't name 10 Black people who were murdered by a Proud Boy last year. You probably can't even name 5. Seriously. So where's the danger? When they scared you in the election, they were like, "Oh my God, the Proud Boys are going to kill everybody." I was like, "No, they're not. They're not going to kill nobody because they haven't killed anybody, right?" So all this is made up. All this is an illusion. All these illusions were created to engage in that people hacking that I was telling you about, where it's not just Facebook that's hacking people. It's the media that's also hacking people and hacking your emotions. It is the politicians that are hacking people and hacking their emotions. And really, most importantly, it's corporate America hacking people and hacking your emotions because that's where these algorithms come into play, where they do things to trigger you emotionally so that you'll engage more so they can actually make more money. So my point here, long story short, I'm going to end this right with this point. Take a break from social media every now and then. Don't let it occupy too much of your brain because all of this energy is designed to divide us. It ain't going to go away. You have to think for yourself. And at the end of the day, I'm an advocate for freedom of speech. There's nothing wrong with letting somebody talk who doesn't agree with you. You shouldn't have the right to shut somebody down just because you don't like what they say. So that's my 2 cents on the issue. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. And also, my Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins. And you can go to boycewatkins.com if you want to take a look at my book. It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar. You can actually have the copy for free at boycewatkins.com. And then you can get on our email list, and I'll send you lots of free stuff. So take care, guys. Have a good day. Love you. Thank you for listening. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.